Live from our studios here at Kokomlemle in Accra, this is Joy News Prime with me, Samuel Kojo Brace. In our lead stories this hour, lawyers for third accused in ambulance procurement trial, Richard Jakpa, subject military high command to intense cross-examination. They demand the presence of the Chief of Defense Staff himself as they seek to discredit accusations that their client was dishonorably discharged from the military. Now, also, the National Democratic Congress says it is not surprised by Fitch Solutions' prediction they are most likely to win the December election with a one-touch victory.
Can tell us to say thank you to them and to praise them as the best government in the history of this country. Then they've got it all wrong, completely wrong.
Details as the party's flag bearer urges vigilance and takes on the MPP for comparing President Akufo-Addo with Kwame Nkrumah. Now at 8 p.m., Pius Kojobaka will bring you Prime Business.
Chief Executive Office of Daylex Finance, Joe Jackson, welcomes new strategies mapped up by government to help put Cocoa Board on a strong financial footing before the end of this month.
Implemented the way it's been described. No, the people of Ghana deserve better. The people of Ghana need Cocoa Board to work better.
Now, the military high command has confirmed that the third accused in the ambulance trial, Richard Jakpa, was dismissed from the military service based on persistent offences and acts of misconduct. Richard Jakpa had earlier denied ever seeing the letter confirming his dismissal from the military since he left office some 17 years ago. Deputy Attorney General Alfred Tia Yeboah on Thursday, June 27, tendered into evidence Richard Jakpa's supposed dismissal letter from the Ghana Armed Forces. Mr. Jakpa's lawyers argue these claims aim to discredit his testimony in a trial involving minority leader Dr. Leto Show. In court on Thursday, Secretary to the Military High Command and custodian of document at the Armed Forces, Nana Aidoo Jemfi, discounted Richard Jakpa's allegation that he was never given a letter relating to his dismissal. Head of our legal affairs desk, Richard Kwajonyako, was in court and has more on what happened in court today.
The minority leader, Leto Show, Richard Jakpa was in court. The Attorney General, Godfred Yeboah, was also in court. In fact, Secretary to the Armed Forces was the one that mounted the witness box. He's been subpoenaed by lawyers for Richard Jakpa to come and answer some questions related to the dismissal of Mr. Jakpa from the military in 2007. In fact, Mr. Jakpa, in series of interviews, had contended that he was not served with any dismissal letter, and so it comes to him as a surprise and as a shock. The Deputy Attorney General tendering a document that purport to be his dismissal letter in court. And so on that basis, he subpoenaed the military high command. But the CDS himself was not in court, but the secretary to the military high command was in court. Contrary to what Mr. Jakpa has been saying, that he had no knowledge of his dismissal letter and all of that, during the cross-examination, the secretary indicated that, in fact, Mr. Jakpa committed series of offences, a lot of misconduct. Two of them that stood out. One was in 2004 when he was in financial straits. He went to his unit and applied for a loan of $300. That loan, they pulled him, but he never paid. Up to 2007, when the military high command decided that they were going to convert the dollars into cedis and actually deduct it from his salary, something that they did. One pertinent one also related to a Lebanese businessman who Mr. Jakpa is alleged to have taken $400 from him. Up to date, Mr. Jakpa was said not to have been able to pay that money. Upon persistent demands, he was unable to give the money back to the businessman. And so they proved in court that in the military, when you commit some offenses and you also have some misconduct on your head, you go through series of interviews, you attend meetings, disciplinary committee meetings, and then all these offenses are spelled out to you. So what Mr. Jakpa indicates is that he, in that letter, it was not stated, no kind of misconduct was stated, that he defrauded people and committed something. It was a report, and they tendered that report that they indicate that Mr. Jakpa indeed has a copy of. And so that is what the proceedings have been. Usually after the court sitting, you would have seen the lawyers, counsel for the accused person, the Attorney General, and all the interested parties, rushing out and then conducting interviews. But because of the warning by Justice Ifiasewa Saributri, not for any of the parties to grant any interviews, today it's been unusually quiet. And so they all walked from the precinct of the court, from the court complex, descended, and then went into their vehicles, and then they sped off. From the court complex, my name is Richard Kwejo Nyakun for Joy News.
Away from that, the former Auditor General Daniel Yao Domelevo has called out government and government officials over what he describes as continuous persecution of the Special Prosecutor Kisi Ejabing. According to the former Auditor General Daniel Yao Domelevo, not only does the office of the Special Prosecutor need some level of protection from the appointing authority, but the president must also be seen to call it officials who are deliberately frustrating the work of the OSP to order. He made the call during his 2024 accountability lecture. There's more in this.
Corruption has become one of the leading conversations in Ghana's public discourse over the period, with many raising questions about what the best approach will be to tackle it. Speaking at the 2024 edition of the Domelevo Accountability Lecture in Accra, former General Secretary of the Convention People's Party, CPP, Nanaya Jantua First, chastised the institutionalization of corruption in the public services and Ghana's body politics.
These days, a person's wealth is not questioned, or nobody finds out where does this one come from, where did this one get their money from to afford such opulence. There are no questions. Bribery is openly expressed where officers of service providers ask for kickbacks. After providing a service, they actually ask you to pay a bribe.
Picking on the challenges faced by anti-corruption agencies in their fight against corruption, former Auditor General Daniel Yao Domelevo said the president must shield the OSP from attacks from his appointees.
And the young man is facing troubles and challenges like nobody's business. So I said, the one who put him there, don't you know that you have to protect this guy? You should be calling people and say, shut up, back off, let him do his work. So please, government officials and people in government, leave the Special Prosecutor alone.
Daniel Domelevo also waded into the conversation about government overtaxation of citizens. He said the government's poor performance despite the high taxation can only be described as blatant stealing from the people.
Ghana is a country which, in my considered opinion, has moved beyond taxation to robbery of the people. Instead of taxing people, we are now robbing people. Whatever money Ghana government can squeeze out of you, they will squeeze it out of you and see the use to which they put these monies. And I ask, why are my people not angry enough when you see this type of things happening?
According to him, the recent Kenyan civil action must serve as a lesson to President Akufo-Addo and his counterparts across the African continent.
The question we want to ask is, the other African leaders, including our own president, has he taken any cue out of it? Or we've forgotten the account proverb that says when your colleague's beard, that's why I don't have beard, so when your colleague's beard is burning, you fetch water and put by yours. Is that not it? But today I don't think that is going down. It would have been so heartwarming for us to wake up and hear from the president that given the heat in the country and what I've heard from somewhere else, I've reduced my cabinet or my ministers to 40. The rest are going home.
But what are the solutions to the challenges?
We need to commercialize the fight against corruption. I don't think the fight against corruption is good enough in the hands of only government, because government may even be complicit in the corruption.
This year's Domelevo Accountability Lecture, which was organized in partnership with the Center for Social Democracy in collaboration with Frederick Herbert Stifton, was on the theme "Is Ghana winning the fight against corruption?" James Abbott.
The election headquarters is brought to you by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity, and the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, CIMA, the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants, also by the Chopbox Technologies, a convenience service, and Youth Bridge Foundation, bridging the gap for positive youth development. Now, the National Democratic Congress says it is not surprised by Fitch Solutions' prediction they are most likely to win the December election with a one-touch victory. On his tour of part of the Accra Thursday, NDC flag bearer John Mahama urged Ghanaians to be vigilant as he criticized the NPP's running mate for comparing President Akufo-Addo with Kwame Nkrumah. Now, Maxwell Agaba is on the campaign trail with the former president and joins us via Zoom. Now, Maxwell, grateful for joining us. The NDC flag bearer has been criticizing the NPP's running mate, comparing President Akufo-Addo with Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. What exactly did he say?
Well, Brace, the tour ended about an hour ago, and it ended in the Adentan constituency, which was the last constituency the NDC flag bearer visited today. There, he interacted with traditional leaders, the clergy, and some Muslim leaders as well. There were concerns about looted state lands, and the NDC flag bearer has been promising that if he is elected president of Ghana, he would set up a commission of inquiry to investigate and return all looted state lands. There were also concerns about the high cost of fees some persons had to pay before embarking on the Hajj pilgrimage. Some people said they paid as much as 75,000, and he said that is not proper, and that if he's elected president, he would ensure the reduction of the Hajj fees to 40,000 cedis. Now, from there, he went to the Adentan market, where he has been meeting the market women. There, he promised the establishment of a national women's bank. He says that this National Women's Bank would give women soft loans that would enable them to do business and do trade easily. He raised a concern about how difficult it is for some of them to get collateral to enable them access these loans. And he believes that the National Women's Bank is going to help in that regard. Earlier, he was in the Ayaso West constituency, Ayaso West Wagon constituency, where there also he interacted with traditional leaders and the clergy. At the La Baoleshi community, during a mini debate at the La Baoleshi community, he urged vigilance during the elections in December. He said, preferably, he stressed on the word preferably, he said graduates should monitor the elections. That also says anybody who has the capacity to monitor the election should be encouraged to do so. But he said preferably graduates and then SHS graduates as well. On the University of Ghana campus, that was when he spoke directly about the claim made by the NPP running mate Matthew Opoku Prempeh, comparing President Akufo-Addo to other past presidents and saying that President Akufo-Addo has achieved more than any Ghanaian president. He said that that is evident of the fact that the NPP is oblivious of current happenings. He says we are experiencing the worst economic situation in a generation, and it therefore baffles him and beats his mind as to how anybody at all would compare this current presidency to that of others, including Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. We can hear from the former president and the flag bearer of the NDC, John Mahama.
We all know what is happening in our country. We know the severe hardship we're all going through. And I've said that if you are ill, the first step to get...
All right, so that was, the former president speaking there. But let's still stay on, and then take you to Parliament, because up to 6 ministers of state have incurred the wrath of the minority in Parliament after they failed to appear before Parliament to answer questions. The ministers for Interior, Local Government and Lands and Natural Resources were programmed to answer questions on alleged illegal recruitment into the security services and private takeovers of state lands, but were absent, with the majority leadership explaining they were at a cabinet retreat. But Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed, in whose name a number of questions stood, insisted the ministers just did not take Parliament seriously.
An urgent question, it ceases to be urgent any longer. This is the second week. And I've seen that many colleagues of mine also filed urgent questions. And these are the excuses they are given to us. For me, it makes the argument stronger that we need to be working towards insulating the legislative arm from the grip of the executive arm. Because some of the ministers are also members of Parliament. So in performing this duality of responsibility, which one do they take important? So, leader, that reason is untenable, and I think that this should be the last time we should experience that, at least in this Parliament. It simply doesn't make sense. They have deputies, and I shudder to think that the deputies are not attending the same program. When they are well aware that there are questions they are supposed to answer. Look, since Tuesday, we have these urgent questions on the other paper since Tuesday, and we've never had the opportunity to act. So if someone's death was to be prevented as a result of the questions we asked, by now the person would have been buried and the funeral announcement and performance would have been done. I don't think that this is a very tangible excuse to give. They need to take this house serious.
Second Deputy Speaker Andrew Amwakwesiaba, who was presiding, directed the majority leadership to ensure ministers are always present to answer questions.
Please, let's do well to let the ministers respond to Parliament. It's very, very important. And I'm making this appeal to the whips, especially the government whips. It is your duty to make sure any minister who is destined to come and respond to any question come. So before a minister is programmed to come and answer or respond to any member, at least it's incumbent on the whips to make sure the ministers are well informed before we even program them. Because it's not nice that we program a minister to come and answer questions. Meanwhile, the minister may be having something else doing. So it doesn't make sense. You program him, the minister is somewhere doing something else. I'm not saying what he's doing is not important. But once we program the minister, there should be that correlation, that the minister will surely make time to come and respond to members. Other than that, it's a bit problematic.
Roads and Highways Minister Francis Assenso-Boakye has touted what he terms as a stellar record of the Akufo-Addo administration in road sector, claiming the government has constructed roads at a rate 3 times better than the erstwhile Mahama administration. The Bantama lawmaker recognizes the importance of maintenance culture in improving upon the existing road network in the country. At a swearing-in ceremony of the new board members of the Road Fund, which included Nsawam Edwajiri MP Frank Anodompre as chairman, the minister tasked the board to ensure road maintenance is prioritized to improve Ghana's road infrastructure.
Invested in road construction more than any other government, and it has upgraded the network substantially, in fact 3 times more than the previous administration. It is on record that between 2009 to 2016, 4,636 kilometers were added to the network, road network. But since 2017 to date, 12,800 kilometers have been added to the network. So this is substantially way above what we've seen in the past. I'm charging the members of the board that there's a new policy shift to focus equally on maintenance, and therefore about 60% of the proceeds from road fund, should go into maintenance.
Meanwhile, newly inducted chairman of the Road Fund Management Board, Frank Anodompre, assured the minister the board will aggressively pursue road maintenance and ensure that roads in the country are in top shape.
And I assure the Ghanaian people is that we are not going to take our work lightly. We are not going to take our work lightly, and it's not going to be business as usual. We must get the oxygen to prosecute the work. That I want to assure the Honourable Minister that we will do that. And together with my board members, we'll give you all the needed cooperation. You have started a good job, and the least we can do as your board is to support you succeed.
Now, to other stories, the United Nations is urging the world to reflect on the need for human values and qualities which could help eliminate poverty and discrimination across the world. Celebrating South Africa's anti-apartheid freedom fighter Nelson Mandela Day today, the United Nations says the current inequality in the world as a result of the human choices, a situation which could be resolved if the world emulates the legacy of Nelson Mandela. As the world celebrated the African icon Madiba, Joy News' Blessed Soga went back to Robben Island prison where Mandela was incarcerated for more than 20 years.
After spending more than 20 years locked behind bars. Sailing down the coast of Cape Town in South Africa, I'm able to walk down memory lane again with another man who was also kept on the Robben Island, which housed a maximum security facility reserved for criminals, anti-apartheid freedom fighters, and chronically ill persons, including lepers. For Siswana, walking through the corridors of this facility revives his trauma when he was first brought here.
Yes, this is the cell. Yeah, and this is what prisoners slept on before the introduction of bed.
But today he walks a free man, remaining hopeful that the world will learn from the legacy of Nelson Mandela and to make the world a just and equitable space for all.
To be honest with you, I'm quite disappointed because I had hoped that when South Africa gets liberated, we as Africans are going to start on another program, a new program that's going to change, our continent to be what we want it to be. Because I think in the process of us being colonized, we lost our humanity. We've forgotten who we are. And as a result, however we treat one another, however we relate to one another, we relate and treat one another on the terms that were actually introduced by our colonizers. We've forgotten our own value systems. That's my biggest disappointment. And I don't see any program that is begun anywhere in Africa that seeks to actually achieve that.
The Robben Islands was decommissioned in 1996, but the facility remains open to tourists and persons who care about the dark past to learn the lessons in order to create a safer future. Blessed Sugan for Joy News, the Robben Island.
And on that note, we'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more. Please do stay. Welcome back from the break now. Local Government Minister Martin A.J. Mensah-Kosa has ordered contractors working on the Mala market to rework on the facility following concerns they did a shoddy work and used inferior materials during construction of the market. This came to light during a tour of some markets in Accra by the sector minister to inspect the adequacy of market sheds and centers in the region. But the contractors have justified why the market finds itself in the current state. Rejoice Semefakpesu was with the minister and has more in the following report.
When the minister and his team visited the Mala market, engineers were completing the finishing touches on the structure, with all sheds already occupied by traders. The office space, crèche and toilet were nearly finished. The minister expressed his dissatisfaction with the structure's appearance and materials used.
I'm sure you saw what has been done and why I was very upset. We think that this work should have come to the end of its life. Unfortunately, the observations done are extremely poor. I wonder how anybody would do this and say it should pass for an inspection. I have asked the chief executive to take action on this. We need to immediately redo virtually everything. The entire thing as it stands there is rejected. I don't think that we should let this pass for expenditure using government's money. The finishing is very poor. The materials used I don't think are okay. The plastering of the walls are just not properly done. And the ground, as I've said, the entire compound is sinking. There's no proper compacting before the pavement blocks were laid. Government is paid for a right thing to be done. If the person did a shoddy work, it's against them, not government. Government will not bear a peso out of this shoddy work done. It will not happen, not in my ministry. So whoever didn't put a good use of government's money will have to fund money back and do it.
The Chief Executive Officer of NKA Consult, Dr. Andrews Kwabla, who supervised the projects, explained the difficulty in compacting the site and disputed the minister's claim that the materials used were of inferior quality.
I think we've all seen the quality of work. This has been a very difficult site. To begin with, it was a marshy area that had been recovered. The recovery was done before we came, and they used refuse. So you're having the composition of the refuse down there, and on top of which we put a gravel cap, and then we put up the buildings and the structures. So we are having problems with some level of settlement, and that has created some of the cracks and uneven levels that we've seen. So as you could see here, there was a lot of rework going on as we came. We have tests, we perform tests on our materials. So you may see a material that may not look good to you, but depending on the lab test results, you then can conclude definitely that they are not good enough.
The Minister, Martin Ejay Mensah Kosa, has assured that his office will work to clear traders from the roads to ensure the free flow of traffic in the capital. The market centres comprise sheds, offices and a crèche for children.
Residents of Wa say they now live in fear following a series of murders in the area. As a result of that, residents, especially businesses, are closing down earlier than before. Now, though there's police and military patrol in the town, owners of restaurants, pubs and shop owners say they still feel unsafe, and hence the change in the closing time. Joy News' Upper West regional correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Wa.
It appears the bustling city of Wa is gradually turning into a ghost town. Roads busy during the day, but almost empty during the night. The recent murders have dramatically affected the lifestyle of the people. 17 persons have been murdered in the municipality in 3 years, allegedly for ritual purposes. Residents for the past few days now live in constant fear, affecting all facets of their lives. The business community, pubs, restaurants, and bars now close earlier than before. Our Regional Chairman of Drinking Bars Association and Chief Executive Officer of the Guys Hub, James Sontakugbe, is deeply worried about the issue.
Things are very bad, and then looking at the current trend of the serial killing has worsened our situation. So we go out, and because of the fear among the people, the customers who close us. As much as the customers are around, we are with them sometimes 2 a.m., sometimes 3 a.m., even sometimes we go home at 4 a.m. But recently, you can count on us around 11 p.m., 12 o'clock a.m., then we begin to pack to move.
He called on the police and the military to intensify their patrols to safeguard the security of the people.
There was security patrols everywhere. Sometimes they have to even come and park their cars around some of us where we operate, and they even move into the interior with their motorbikes or they walk. But this time we hardly see them. They still come around, but they were not so prompt like they used to be earlier.
People fear to operate in the night. Even because they don't know the killers. Maybe they may be picking some of them or 2 of them, so they fear. moving around the night. The night work is affecting us because some of the vehicles that always come from down south to here, they come around midnight. And we are the people that always pick them to their destinations. So, but due to what that is happening, we don't always work in the night again.
The tricycle operators want the security agencies to be proactive and inform the public about persons arrested since the incident started 3 years ago. Reporting for Dway News, Rafik Salam. Wow.
Now, children's lives are invaluable, yet for those attending Citadel International Academy, crossing the road is a daily gamble. Located in the Sakaman area along the Kaneshi-Malam Highway in Accra, these children go through the risky task of crossing the dangerous highway to get to school and return home. Each successful crossing feels like a victory in a dangerous game that repeats every day. They've been expressing their fears as reckless drivers speed past with little regard for their safety. Joy News' Jacqueline and Sumaya Boa reports.
Wait, let the car stop. Wait. Let every car, wait. You are with your children, so let every car stop.
These school children, some as young as 5-year-old, are lucky today. They have been provided with a lollipop stand to help them cross this road safely, thanks to the Accident Victim Support Foundation, an NGO helping make the road safe for children in Ghana.
We looked at the number of children that we support as accident victim support over the years. Let's say the past 8 years, we've supported a lot of children who had their injuries from either going to school or coming back from school. And so interrogating those children, we realized that they have no knowledge about road safety, i.e. where to cross, how to cross, and even why they are crossing the road.
2 years ago, a pupil who was attempting to cross this road did not make it as careless drivers speeding on this highway tragically knocked him down.
Unless you ask an adult to help you cross the road, unless you will die on the roadside. Some children, little children like 2 years and 4 years, cross the road by themselves. It's not safe for us.
And so if there's no adults around, then what do? You just stand there?
You just stand there like that, waiting for nobody to help you, unless you stand there just like that, unless you beg them or you tell these people around the area that you beg them they should help you cross the road, unless you are standing here just like that.
Yes, sometimes it's unsafe. Then you have to wait until all the cars park before you have to cross.
Okay. And what about you?
Even when you want to even cross, some of them, they ignore you. They don't even want to mind you. When you beg the cars to even stop, they don't mind you. Sometimes I ask the grown-ups to help me to cross because they are moving so fast. I can't even see where I'm going.
But the risk of that happening again have been significantly reduced following the provision of this lollipop stand. The children were given a mock test to familiarize themselves with a new traffic tool. This test almost turned into a real-life scenario when a motorcycle came dangerously close to hitting the back of one of the cars. It was a stark reminder of the dangers these learners face daily. The headmistress of Citadel International Academy, Rosemary Aidoo, is excited that the help has now come to help keep the roads safe.
We have been talking about these kids, about, safety and all that, but this kind of finalizes everything. Now they understand well what it's all about. We have been telling them, when you're walking or you're crossing the street, do not converse on the streets, because then you won't be aware of your surroundings. If there's a car coming, you might not know. So this kind of actually finalizes it.
Jacqueline and Sumaya Boa reporting for Joy News, Sakaman, Accra.
Now, officers of the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, and the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, have clashed with the chief of Nahinso over a self-initiative to rehabilitate deplorable roads in the community. Nana Aidoo Boaman's son winning activities to fill flood-prone land has been resisted by the local assembly because he failed to seek authorization. But the chief insists his initiative is to help alleviate the plight of residents. Nana Boachi Yadom has more.
Residents of Nahinso in the Asokwa municipality have had to contend with deplorable roads. Those of us who use smaller cars really suffer because of the bad roads.
Transportation from here to town,
it looks as if we are suffering because of the roads. Going to the maintenance is equally expensive. Government must help us. The chief of Nahinso, Nana Aidoo Boama, says his decision to independently undertake the road rehabilitation was spurred by the concerns of residents and commuters after failed promises by the government. But this got him arrested.
I've been there no less than 8 times. The last time that I went to the MC, in fact, he didn't even give me attention. All he could told, I waited for about three hours, and what he could told me was, Nana Chapatan program to me as honorable member, assembly member. And I told him that, look, it's because of you that I've come. And my people have been complaining. And there was even a time that I even called him personally on phone and told him that my people are threatening demonstration against you. And he told me, Nana Tobo, Odi Aniwo Mukasa. And for how long can I do this?
The local assembly has denied causing his arrest, but accused the chief of winning sand under a high-tension tower and also blocking roads leading to some homes. Asokwa Municipal Chief Executive Akonya Sajima said the road has been awarded on contract.
Let me put it on record that no arrest was made. The chief was not arrested. The chief has not been arrested by the Asokwa Municipal Assembly. The road is under construction by a contractor, just that he's waiting for the bridge that he constructed to dry up or whatever.
Chief clashed with a team of NADMO, EPA and local assembly when they visited the area. Assistant planning manager at EPA, Daniel Obite, however, said the chief's action will rather cause flooding in the area.
Where lies in the issue of flooding? He's rather causing it. He's not solving any problem. He has encroached the buffer, so we are mounting a signage to ward him off. He's not supposed to come to this side anymore.
Residents are hoping for early intervention to the plight of poor roads. For Joy News, Nana Boachi Dankwa Yadom, Kumasi.
All right, welcome back. Let's do showbiz now. And Becky Bex is here looking so beautiful. Hi, Becky. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you? Let's talk about the photography industry. Franklin John Jr. is a commercial and advertising photographer. His mission is to make photographers and digital creatives in Ghana benefit from their craft. He spoke to my colleague Derek Elom Ashilivi in a yet-to-air interview on Talk No Dey Cook Rice podcast.
Ghana is a very small industry when it comes to the creative space. I believe once we have a plethora of very good people, the industry goes up. We now tend to let people know that you can't afford to charge something small. Yeah. Because there's already that concept that, photographer, you're in charge of 500. Once you actually realize that you have put in work to get some level of knowledge, you won't, belittle yourself to a fee that is way below you. And that's what I'm trying to do. So anybody who comes around me, you learn the best of the best. Unfortunately, you can't get everybody to think like the way you're thinking. There's definitely some people who go and say, they're 500 brand. And that's what I'm saying. I'm on a quest to make sure that the industry rate standard increases. When a client comes to you for an interview video, you shouldn't charge not less than $10,000 or dollars.
Serious?
I'm not saying, I'm just giving a hypothetical,
I get it.
What do you call it?
Figure.
Yeah. We should not charge less than $10,000. So when I go to B, they know that it's not less than $10,000. It's not less than $10,000. So it's an industry standard. It will benefit every single creator. And when we find out that you went to go and do it for $5,000, the whole industry will come and chase you. So right now, what will keep us, or what will guarantee you getting a job is the quality of your work. It's the quality of how you work with clients. It's how you're able to maintain your client's relationship. Because now there's a universal standard when it comes to the rate. It's how the client feels comfortable. I mean, I can go to B and get the same rate. I can go to A and get the same rate. But I would like to be with B because B makes me feel comfortable. I don't do too much work when I have to work with B. I don't have to call him too much. Whenever I call him, B picks. whenever I have a problem, B treats the problem like it's his problem. So right now, it will depend on how you and your client relate. That's a quest. The personal quest.
Wow.
If you want to join me, join me.
I will join you.
I mean, we played the story
Eric
yesterday, huh?
Kofi Abrefa, he is Ghanaian, so we all need to support him. Yeah, he'll be coming down to Ghana to do a few things.
Okay.
So
I would have to watch it because of him.
yeah, please do.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you for watching Joy News. Remember to brush your teeth day and night with Pepsodent. Pepsodent, because every smile matters. Well, thank you so much for joining us here. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. Up next is Pius Kojo Baka with Prime Business. Thank you. Gracias.